welcome back to another brand new episode from Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, and in today's video we are carrying on with the water park area of the theme park. Now of course the theme park now it's split into various different zones. We've of course got the kind of like prehistoric area, we've then got the western area, and then going into the Egyptian area, and now I'm just finishing off basically the water park area of the theme park. And the water park has gone for sort of an Atlantis kind of theme we've gone for with this. You know, there's plenty of buildings, plenty of theming dotted round, and like I've done with all of the other areas of the park, you know, I've really tried to focus on getting the detail into this area, you know, making sure that we've used as many props and as many different bits of theming as we possibly can do to make the really push, you know, what you can do in Roller Coaster Tycoon and get as much detail into the area as possible. So of course, in the last episodes, the last few episodes, we've gone ahead and we've built sort of the water slides, and everything kind of intertwines with each other now. You know, you've got the different kind of buildings, and obviously what I'm doing now is I'm just putting in some food outlets and a merchandise outlet as well, because I feel like, you know, we've got quite a lot of rides in this area, but there isn't any like kind of food stalls or anything like that. So really what we're doing now over the next couple of videos probably is just going to be adding a few different stalls around the area. Of course, I'm also going to be putting a roller coaster in the area as well, and you'll see me actually complete the construction of that at the sort of end of this video. I do go in and put that roller coaster in. Now, in terms of the roller coaster, although I start it in this video, I'm not actually going to be finishing that off until the next video. Now, the roller coaster itself is kind of just going to intertwine with the area. It's kind of like a bit of a finishing piece, if you like. I feel like it just ties everything nicely together, and you'll also see that I'm going to be installing an aquarium in the park as well, so you'll see that going in at some point during this video. And you know what I do want to say as well is thank you very much to everyone who's kind of picked this series back up, because obviously I haven't been uploading that many episodes of this series, just because, you know, over the summer I was kind of focusing on getting, you know, all of that theme park content. Now, all the theme parks in England at least are now closed due to the new sort of restrictions that are in place, so there's no theme parks open at the moment apart from Alton Towers. They've actually reopened the gardens, which is actually quite interesting, because I've never seen Alton Towers open just the gardens on their own. Now of course they did do that in summer because of the original kind of lockdown that we had, but now they've actually reopened the gardens again for November. Like, so throughout November, over every Friday, Saturday and Sunday I think it is, you can actually go to Alton Towers and just walk around the gardens area of the theme park and take a little look at they've actually started the Christmas construction already, so you can go in there and take a little look at that. But apart from Alton Towers, I don't actually think there is any other theme parks open in the UK. I mean, all of the ones in Wales, they're certainly closed. I assume it's the same in Scotland as well. And now obviously England, the only real place in terms of a theme park that you can go to is the Alton Towers gardens, and even that, you know, there's no rides or anything like that. It is literally just the gardens, but definitely worth going. You know, if you've got yourself a Merlin annual pass and you're not too far away, I'd definitely go and check it out, you know, just for something to do really, you know, if nothing else. But yeah, that's quite interesting. So obviously now that all of the theme parks are closed, it really is now time to sort of crack on with this. Let's get this Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 world finished off, and then obviously once this is finished we can then move on hopefully to Planet Coaster or something like that, or maybe even you know, do like maybe an indoor theme park or something like that in RCT3. So we really will just see sort of where it goes after that. But yeah, you can see now what I'm doing is I'm actually installing a little aquarium area. Now I thought this would just kind of finish off the area nicely. You know, we're going for the whole water park style area, and I thought, you know, an aquarium would be quite fitting. Now, as you can see on the screen, I did have quite a bit of a nightmare with this aquarium. I actually ended up having to delete it and start again. For some reason, I couldn't get the sort of tubes to connect up properly. So in the end, I literally just had to build the whole thing again and just start again. It's probably me doing something wrong, but it just turned into basically a complete nightmare. And then I couldn't figure out how to actually attach the entrance onto the thing. I wasn't sure if you had to actually have an entrance or if you could just attach it to like the pathway, but it turns out you do have to have an entrance. And you can see there I've actually placed it down accidentally in the wrong place, and now I can't move the entrance. And you'll see in a minute I actually struggle to put the entrance where I want it to be. It takes me absolutely ages, so I don't know what I've done wrong with this aquarium, and obviously it's difficult to kind of see what I was trying to do on the time lapse when it's all sort of sped up. but it took me so long to build this aquarium. You know, this is probably one of the most simple things that I've built, you know, in the whole world. And it took me absolutely ages to figure it out. I don't know why. It's always little things like this in Roller Coaster Tycoon that tend to go wrong. You know, the game, it is quite old now. And some of this stuff as well, you know, you've got to remember that this has been added onto the game. You know, it's not actually something that was originally in the game. It's actually part of one of the expansion packs. So, you know, you add all of that together and you do end up, you know, encountering issues now and again. But you can see I've sort of created another hill area there just to block off the water park area from the rest of the park, you know, just to kind of create that boundary that we've got around all of the other areas. And I think that just kind of finishes it off nicely, and it really gives you like a defined boundary between all of the different areas. So, you know, you can sort of very clearly see by looking at the map, you know, the difference between the different areas in the park, basically. And that's why I've put walls up, you know, pretty much around all of the areas. You know, you can really clearly see where one area ends and the next area begins. I am probably going to work a little bit on the entrance to this area as well in the next video. Probably add a few more palm trees to the other side of the path, because it is a little bit bare. And as I say, I want to get some more food outlets and stuff like that in there as well, really just to finish off the water park area. But yeah, I was actually really happy with how that aquarium turned out. I think that looks really nice. And again, it's just one of those kind of finishing things. I think maybe another flat ride or something like that might just go nicely. I might do that as well in the next video. But by the end of the next video, I do want to have this area completely finished off. So, you know, as I say, I've tried to get as much done as I can in this one. We're getting the roller coaster in now. Now, what I went for with the roller coaster was actually a hyper coaster. Now, I know I did say about not building rides above the tree line in the park, and I have tried to do that where possible, but with this coaster, because it's above the water park, there isn't really any room for me to dig down. So I feel like it's not really possible for me to build a roller coaster around the water park that is below tree line, just because there isn't really any work, you know, there's no room to work with. So I thought, you know what, I'm not going to be able to go, you know, below the level of the water park anyway to sort of get extra height and speed. So I was like, I'm just going to build a hyper coaster here, because I'm not going to want to build a hyper coaster anywhere else in the park. And what I kind of thought of when I was building this was, I believe it's called, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's called Mako at SeaWorld, and I forget which SeaWorld it is now. I think it's SeaWorld in Orlando. They've got this roller coaster called Mako, and it's basically a hyper coaster. It's not the tallest hyper coaster you've ever seen, but it is a hyper coaster, and it's set and it goes round kind of like a lake, and I just think the views on that ride are really nice, and I thought that's kind of where I got the inspiration from for this ride. Now, the colour scheme that I go for on this is actually white and blue, and that's a colour scheme that I've stolen from Shambhala at Portaventura. Now, obviously, that's got nothing to do with Mako at SeaWorld, but I really like the colour scheme on Shambhala. If you've not heard of it, do a Google, have a look now whilst you're watching the video. Shambhala's got a really nice colour scheme, and I think it's quite a unique colour scheme as well. It's just kind of like white, white on the kind of box, and then it's sort of blue rails and blue cross ties, and it just looks really nice. So you'll see it's not actually the right colour at the moment, but I do go back in a second and upgrade that so it's got the sort of white and blue colour scheme. But yeah, that's where I kind of got the inspiration from for this ride. It was Mako at SeaWorld, and then also Shambhala for the colour scheme as well. But yeah, I thought a B&M Hypercoaster would just go really nice in this area. It would give, you know, as you can see, I've sort of made like a bit of a helix above where the actual main pool is. And what I'd like to do in the next video is build like a really nice station area above this as well, just to finish it off. So we'll have another building there, and that'll kind of act as another boundary then for the water park as well. You can see there, it's just testing, it's going round. It's not, as I say, it's not the tallest or the fastest ever, but it does give you some nice views of the water park as you're going round there, and I think it just finishes off the area nicely, so that's really why I wanted to get that in there. But yeah, I'm really happy. I actually think that this area is now my favourite area of the park. Previously it was the Egyptian area, but I actually really like how this has turned out, and it's turned out a lot better than expected. I've managed to pack a lot in to the sort of area that we've worked with. But yeah, as I say, in the next video, I'm going to finish off this area, and then, as I said previously, I'd kind of like to go into kind of like a Halloween area or something like that, potentially in the next couple of videos. So we'll see how that goes. I was trying to get the supports there to kind of, they still don't really look right to me, the way that the like kind of blocks are of grass, but it was really difficult to get the shaping on that right, but I just kind of left it as it is for now. But yeah, you can see that I'm just making sure that the coaster actually has supports, because at one point it literally looked like it was floating above the water park, and it didn't have any supports at all. So that's why I've had to delete some of the kind of squares there, just to make sure that the roller coaster is actually connected to the ground, because of course this is planet Earth and things do behave in accordance with gravity, and we do need supports on the rides, so that's what I've done there, just put the supports in. And yeah, as I say, I think there'll be just one more episode now on this world, and then I think after that we'll be moving on then to the next sort of major area of the park, fingers crossed, but we'll see how we do. I'm putting kind of like a little drop there with a lake. Again, that's inspired by Shambhala. Shambhala's got like kind of like a drop with like a water splash. If there was a water splash in RCT3, then that would be going right there, but unfortunately there isn't. But it gives kind of like a nice view for people that are sort of enjoying the food and beverage area, as it were. But yeah, that's pretty much all that we're doing in this episode. So I know it was quite short. Again, these videos, you really don't like kind of notice how long I actually spend on this. But yeah, I really enjoyed getting that sort of roller coaster in there. So yeah, if you did enjoy, please let me know down below in the comments. It's always great to see that people do enjoy the series. And apart from that, I will see you all in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.